Hello comrades, Watch Fanatic here. Before I go on, just want to state that I'm not pro-Russian or anything like that. I've just got an interest in watches. I used to have a Russian girlfriend and she got me a little bit more switched on to Russian culture and things like that. And yeah, I'd always wanted to visit perhaps St. Peter's. She was from St. Petersburg and I'd like to visit there and Moscow one day, hopefully when all this horribleness is over. But in the meantime, I managed to pick up some vintage Russian watches, and this is the latest one that I've purchased. It's a Vostok 1970s. This is a Franken watch. I'll tell you a little bit more about why it's a Franken watch. Very interesting. So I picked this up from eBay, £16, just over £16. Not working. You said it was spares or repairs. As you can see, it is working. It is fast though. So this is the Vostok Komandirskie, is that how you pronounce it? So you've got that written on the dial there, like the commander in Russian. And you've got this really cool dial with missiles and planes and ship and all this type of thing going on. You've got the red star. It doesn't say, it's got that B with a circle, which is Vostok, which is Latin for Vostok, I believe. They called them a couple of different names. And on the back, you've got a rotating bezel, and we've got a date. It doesn't seem to be working. The watch is working. It's running very fast, so it needs servicing, but it is actually working. On the back, it says amphibian. So I've looked this up on Google Gemini, and I've got a bit of information about what this watch actually is, and it's a Franken watch. So it's kind of a mishmash of a couple of watches, but basically it's a solid vintage watch. It's not that unusual that it's got a different case back. So the caliber there, 2209, isn't quite the one that's inside. It's got a hand wind caliber inside, a later one to that one. And the amphibian was their waterproof 200-meter watch. This has got a screw-down crown. Now, the thing is, one thing that was immediately obvious is that the crown wouldn't screw up. It was just going round and round, so the thread had gone or whatever. I have managed to kind of fix that. Not 100%, but I've used some pliers and I've basically squeezed around the crown slightly, and now it will actually unscrew and it will screw up to a certain point. I wouldn't over tighten that. It might do the threading, but yeah, it's pretty much attaching where before it would not catch at all. So yeah, so this, I'm just going to pop this up on got another phone here. Let's get on. Just read what this says about it. So the movement is a 24009A. I'll take the back off to show you in a second. And the dial, Komandirskie, were both in widespread production and highly popular from the late 1970s through to the 1980s. The caseback, stamped with the older 2209 model number, is likely a leftover part from the earlier production period that was still used in Soviet factories' assembly line, which was known for using up part stock. The most likely age for your assembled watch is the 1980s, right up to the time of the collapse of the Soviet Union, 1991. The practice of combining parts is extremely common with vintage Soviet watches. It's part of their rugged charm and history. Your watch is a fantastic and genuine example of a Soviet-era Vostok production, built with reliable 2409A SU movement inside. So I showed the AI the movement, so that's why it's got that information. It's 200-meter rated, amphibia case, topped with a military Komandirskie dial. And so he's saying, since you've opened the back, you might have noticed a soft iron magnetic shield. So I'll take the back off just to show you the sort of the light. We're in November now, so it's been sunny. The sun comes out and it goes back in again. So I like to use natural light if possible, so I've not got any additional lamps on. So I do apologise if the focus sometimes takes a while to catch up. I've kept this pretty loose because I've had it off. So we've got this internal little safety protection kind of cover. You've got that cover, an outer ring, which is common on these. Oh, there goes my... And there's the movement. That's that rubber, which I thought was to give it waterproofing, but they're saying that's some kind of anti-magnetic rubber ring. There you can see the movement, 24094SU. It's in really nice condition, I'm sure, with a service, but of course that would cost about £100. It would run really, really well. Cracking watch. Probably not something I'd wear. You know, I've got this collection. I'll show you the other ones I've got. Let's put this back together. I'll show you what it looks like on my wrist. It's a good size watch. So these watches, apparently, so a little bit more digging on Google Gemini, which is amazing actually, you know, how much information you very quickly can glean from Google Gemini. We've just shown them a picture of the watch and a bit more detail, and they can come out very quickly with everything you need to know about it. That's the age we live in now. It's just remembering to use it. So let's just pop this. These are always a bit tricky. I have got a proper case back thingy, but that's more fiddly sometimes than just doing this. Yeah, so that ring, if you can get it on, screws on and clamps everything down. That case back has got two little location tabs, so it all has to go in the right way. It's quite a nice little design actually. That should be going around there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to over tighten it for now. That's on there. I don't think the strap's original, but it suits the watch pretty well. I mean, it's quite a big watch. I think that's about 40mm. I'll just show you what it looks like on my wrist. So as I said, it's not something I'm going to wear. I just keep it in my collection. It's just, you know, I like vintage watches. Occasionally one comes up. All different types, not just Russian. I mean, that's just something. So some of these watches I've got, I'm going to show you, not all Russian. Some of these are East German as well, because kind of similar to the Russian watches, but in the old GDR. Let's pop that on. And on my 6.5-inch wrist. Bear with me, just whacking it on. And there you go. Quite an interesting looking watch. Yeah, not something I'd wear. It's just more of a collector's piece. So I have another one of them. Again, this one's running fast. This one isn't a Franken watch. This one is kind of the real deal. And it's got a submarine. It's it's the same thing. The Commander, but I can't say it. Commander, basically Commander watch. With a rotating bezel. That didn't. I think that cost me about £10. I've got a video on this. If you look back at my videos, you will find one. But again, it's running fast. Needs a service. The crown on this one's good. It screws up. So I've got that one. I just thought they're quite interesting looking with the pictures of the submarines and the tanks and all this type of thing on them. And this one. So this one is another Russian one. Not as interesting looking, just a regular kind of 1960s. This is the Vostok. So this is what I was saying. Some of the Vostoks are called Vostoks. It's the same thing. It's just Latin. Move that out of the way so you can see it. Light is not playing game. There we go. Boktok, sorry, Boktok. You can see that's had a life. Bit of a crack in the glass, but again, I paid just a few pounds for this. There is a video about this watch. Most of my watches I do a video about. So just so I can show you guys who are interested in watches, all these different types of vintage watches which are out there. This is another Russian watch, which I've got a Pobeda. So that Russian word there says Pobeda, I do believe. This one's in really quite worn state. It looks ancient, but this is probably like a 1980s watch, this one. It certainly looks older. It's just the style that they did. This one keeps really good time. It's working really well. I put it on this NATO style strap, but it is very, very worn. Again, I've got a video of this watch. If you want to know more about this watch, I did a more in-depth video with a back off and that type of thing. It'll be in my video list somewhere. So these two are East German. So this is Ruler. So these are the old GDR watches, which are quite collectible. I really gave this one a clean up. It's in quite a bad state. This one again is running fast, if I remember, either fast or slow. Needs a service, but honestly, I'm not going to, on a few pound watch, I'm not going to spend £100 to service it. I haven't got the good enough tools to do it myself. Probably haven't got the skills. I've always thought perhaps I will get a really decent set of precision screwdrivers. I've got some, but they just won't get the small screws off. These cheaper versions you get from eBay, you've got to spend a good £100 really to get a decent set of precision screwdrivers that will actually undo these tiny screws. Otherwise, these ones you get from eBay, they look the part, they won't do it. They're just a waste of time. So, it's a bit of an investment. But if I do that, then actually it's not that difficult to do a basic, very basic service you might be able to do on some of these more kind of basic movements. This one's interesting. I've got a video on this one as well. So this is the by Tuna, and this was a collaboration with East Germany and Tunisia. And they brought out this watch I think they were giving this watch away at functions and political events and whatnot. So East Germany were trying to basically get in with other countries, for support and this type of thing. So, and to do trade. And that was to celebrate their Tunisian, kind of trade deals I think they were doing at the time. But that's a really cool looking watch. This one keeps really good time. And you see that you've got day dat, that kind of like German wording. I like that watch. I have actually worn this on occasion because it does keep good time. It's not a bad looking watch. Got quite a nice bracelet. So occasionally I will actually wear that. Haven't done for a while, but the others, no. Yeah, so going back to this one, I'll put this in the collection. It's not going to be worth a fortune. Asking Gemini, I think it's anywhere from kind of like 20 to £40. So I think I got quite a good deal. Maybe more, I don't know. But because it's a Franken watch, where you've got different parts, the case back isn't really correct. That does devalue it slightly, but not terribly, because it's from the 1970s. It is all, the same manufacturer. That's in relatively good condition. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe to see more watch-related content. If you go back through my videos, you'll see I've got loads of videos on vintage watches and more modern watches, reviews, things like that. And I'd really appreciate it because it helps the algorithm, especially if you can do that. What is it called? Boost? I don't know what it's called. That new thing on YouTube where you can click might help as well. Anyway, guys, take care.